Hi everyone, my name's Margot. I'm the Artistic Director at Milk Crate Theatre. Welcome to our video series on devising theatre. Today is just an introduction video, so I'm just going to talk to you about what we'll be looking at in future weeks. And we're going to do some base element exercises with a very special guest, so do stay tuned. So, Devising Theatre is a workshop series that we had started live, but now we're moving into an online format. So over the next 9 or so weeks, we're going to be looking hopefully at these different things. Today, we're going to start out by looking at the base elements of pace, rhythm, and levels. Then we're going to be looking at what is devised theatre. What does it look like? What are our experiences of it? What are the different forms of devised theatre? Then we're going to look at improvisation and how we can use that to devise theatre. We're going to look at character creation. We're going to do some object play, some movement. I know you can't wait for the movement. We're going to be looking at setting and the world of the character that you create. We're going to be looking at symbolism and how symbolism can affect your character or the world of the character and the narrative. And we're going to look at how to integrate that symbolism into what you're creating and narrative. So there's a lot there, but we're just going to do a little bit each week and do a follow-up session after each video. So today's video, we're just looking at those base elements. Now, there are lots of different ways that people make theatre and lots of different methodologies that people use. So some examples of that might be Laban, viewpoints, or the Suzuki method. And basically, all of those methods are a collection of different ways to explore. So those of you who know me and have worked with me know that I love to use Gabrielle Roth's 5 rhythms. We're going to look at those today. And basically, it's just different ways to group ideas, different ways to look at how the body moves, or looking at motion or feeling, different ways to express using the body, but also narrative and the creation of material. So today we're going to look at pace, rhythm, and levels. All directors will take a little bit from here, there, and everywhere, and it also depends on what kind of project you're working on as to what you'll use in a creative process. So let us now introduce our special guest who will be demonstrating pace, rhythm, and levels with me for you. So here we are with a very special guest, Lucy. Yay! We're very far apart, so it's all good.
You're very small.
Yeah. So Lucy is beautifully and kindly going to demonstrate these different methods of working with us today. So we're going to start with pace. So Lucy, I would like you to move around the room at a regular, everyday kind of pace that you're feeling today. So day by day, this will change for the person or the kind of day that they're having, or how you're feeling on a particular day. But we start out at a base kind of pace. We call this pace number 3 out of 5. So making this your pace number 3, Lucy, let's now take it down to pace number 1 out of 5, which will be your slowest walking pace. And if you're doing this at home, just pay attention to how the muscles that you're using in your body shift when you go from pace number 3 down to 1. And also take notice of how your sense of balance shifts when you're doing that too. Actually, take note of it every time you change your pace. Because now I'm going to take Lucy right up to number 5, our fastest walking pace. So it's not running, but it's our fastest walking pace. And 3. And can you now find 4 for me? And 3. 2, 1, 2. I'm just going to take Lucy through all of the paces right now. And if you're doing this at home, just have a think about also what kind of state would a character be in, or what kind of emotion might a character be feeling moving at this kind of pace. Doesn't have to be negative or positive, could be any of those, but just have a think about it. Are we on 2? Yep, so pace number 3. Regular everyday pace. When might your character be moving at that kind of pace? And 4. We see someone on stage moving this fast. What do we usually read about it? I guess it could be anxious, or it could be really excited, or in anticipation of something. But what about now when we kick it over into pace number 5? What do we read? And if you're doing this at home, how does that make you feel? And 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Awesome. Thank you, Lucy.
Sorry?
Do you need a break?
Oh, no.
We'll keep going. All right, cool. So now we're just going to take a quick look at the 5 rhythms based on Gabriel Roth's 5 rhythms. So they are flow, staccato, chaos, lyrical, stillness. So they can be applied to any kind of way of working. They come from a movement basis, but you can also use them in anything. You can use them obviously in music, you can use them in art or painting, you can use them in narrative or writing. So we're just going to have a look at looking at the rhythms in the body and considering what they might tell us about a character, or how they might make us feel when we're developing a character or a story or a narrative. So we're just going to start off with rhythm number 1, which is flow. And yeah, so if you'd like to start with some flowing movements. So very generally speaking, the flow rhythm means that each movement is following on from the previous movement. So it's movement after movement after movement. Sometimes it's quite circular. We can also think about the idea of flow like water. And so we just investigate these different kinds of rhythms in our body when we want to play, when we want to improvise, when we want to warm up. But also think about, if you're developing a character, when might your character feel like they are in this state of flow? Thanks, Lucy. Now let's look at number 2, which is staccato, which is a little bit robotic, short, sharp, shiny. So each of these movements are movements in and of themselves. So there are breaks between them. They can be fast or slow, and they're usually a little bit more jolted in nature. The lines are a bit more straight or diagonal as opposed to round and flowing. So have a think about when you see this on stage, what does that mean? How do we read that when someone's body is in a staccato mode? Great. Thank you, Lucy. I don't want to wear you out too fast. Okay, number 3, we're going to look at chaos. So in the chaos rhythm, it's really just the meaning of chaos, which is that it can be unregulated, like there's no pattern. it can be whatever you like. So here we can explore different levels, directions, whatever comes to you is all good. I think we can also think about different ways that we can look at chaos as well. Like chaos might be super fun kind of chaos. There might also be an anxiety-based kind of chaos when we're not sure what's happening. Lots of other ways that we can experience each of these rhythms. Thanks, Lucy. Really good. I'll let you take it further at home. Be aware of the space as well. Don't knock over all your things. And now lyrical. So I describe lyrical as a way of kind of moving the way that feels natural to your body and kind of telling the story of you or your character or any story. It's lyrical, like lyrics, and it's descriptive. And everyone will have a different version of lyrical. While we're in lyrical, I'm also going to start introducing this idea of levels because Lucy is already moving at different levels. So at the moment, she's moving in a medium level. Would you like to take this to a low level now, Lucy? Low level and lyrical. She's very clever. And now to a high level. And back to medium or your regular level. Okay, thank you. Last one, very nice one for at the end of doing those first 4 rhythms is the 5th rhythm, which is stillness. So, stillness isn't just standing still. It's really about thinking about that feeling of stillness, what might make us come to a sense of stillness. How can we move with a sense of stillness still in our body? It might be that we move in slow motion. It might be that we move a little bit and then pause, and then move a little bit and then pause. There's lots of different ways to look at it, but really it's about holding a sense of stillness in your body. I think you'll notice here as well that when we watch someone moving in a really deliberate way, really focused, really focusing on that sense of stillness, it's very entrancing and we want to know what's going on. And relax. Thank you. Just one more time. Just where you are, we're just going to look at the 3 levels. So that's the 3rd thing that we're looking at today. There are lots of different levels, but we always start out with the basics. So medium level, low level, high level. Thank you, Lucy. Take a bow. So thank you to the wonderful Lucy for demonstrating our pace, rhythm, and levels. The task in relation to today's video for you is to take notice of pace, rhythm, and levels in your own body across the week. So, in what places are you feeling like your body is a little bit more staccato? Maybe when you're waiting at the supermarket, or if you're in a stressful situation, notice how that affects your body. Or maybe when you're walking in the park, you might feel a sense of flow, and maybe your posture and level rises a little bit to become a high level posture because everything feels really great. So just take notice of that stuff. Also have a look at people around you. If you happen to be around people, maybe at the supermarket, that's a good place to have a look at people. And anything that you're watching on TV or in films, just take a notice of people's body pace as well. What kind of situations make people move faster or slower? All right, we'll see you next time.